normal. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Clever Conversations. I'm Bree. This is my friend Heather Zeitzwolf.
Hi.
The super rad, awesomely cool accountant friend of mine. I love you so much. I'm so glad you're here. First guest of this new project of mine.
Oh, Yay. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to hear all about this too.
Thank you. So, now I'm hearing myself in the background because I have it live. I got to get out of this stuff. Okay. Sorry. That's what happens as I'm trying to get things done. I had it playing on YouTube for myself. That was crazy. So I could hear myself in my head. So I do hear my own voice sometimes in my head anyway, but it happens. New adventure. So I started a new business. I started it last week. And I've been putting it together, and I had $100 budget, $100 to start a business with. How crazy is that, right? Like,
it's crazy, but it's sometimes we have to test out what the business is going to be. I don't think it's really good to spend a lot of money on a business until we know that it's a viable business. So I'm anxious to find out what you did with $100.
Okay. So there's a lot of things, and we're talking about secrets to starting a business with $100 today. And I'm going to share some of the secrets. So the first secret is have a good network. Have a great network. And I've been working. I know you network like crazy.
Yep.
What do you think is what has been like the things that you've gotten out of networking so far that you just love?
Networking, to me, it's that human connection that because when we're selling things, we're not Coca-Cola. We're not putting up these big ads. We don't expect people to, flood in and buy our stuff. I mean, we're not these big giant brands. So as small business owners, we have to make human connections with each other. And, just putting things up on social media, that's fine. People discover us maybe, but really they buy from people that they know, like, and trust. And that trust comes from that human relationship that comes from networking. And, networking is just, it's inexpensive. You don't have to pay for ads. Maybe you go to a conference, maybe that costs a little bit of money, but it is an inexpensive way. And also, like, networking, you meet people that might connect you with somebody else, and you just never know where one connection can lead to the next.
100%. You never know where that network connection is going to lead you. It is all about making those connections and even getting referrals, right? Because maybe you meet somebody and you have a friend that you're like, oh, I know someone. I have to connect you with them, right? Yeah. So you can get a lot of leads. You can get a lot of great connections. That's what I've been doing. I have been working really, really hard to connect with people and network and grow my network. Even before, and I think it's something to do before you decide to start a business, or if you're in something and you're thinking about doing something else or whatever it might be, you can't, there's so much value in networking. And like you said, it doesn't cost anything. I go to so many networking meetings every single week. They're all a little different, but they're and some of them have been duds. I have to say, there have been a few that I've been to that I'm just like, this is just not for me. And I'll go once and then I usually don't go back. But and that's okay, right? You're going to find some that just don't fit who you are and what you want to do.
Exactly.
But I am using my network connections to start my business. And that was the first thing I used before I spent a penny. I used my network. I reached out to my network. And I'll tell you what, if you are making the right connections and you're spending time getting to build relationships and get to know people, the second, I reached out to people and they immediately jumped into a meeting with me. Not like, let's put something on the books. No, they were like, hey, I'm free right now. Let's jump into a meeting right now and let me see how I can help you. And that was crucial and key. So that's like my first, almost my number one secret to starting a business for $100 or less is using the network connections that you've made. And if you don't have a network now, that's okay. Get out and find some meetings. There's a ton of places you post a lot of networking events. I've been to your networking events. I love them. When they fit my schedule, I am there. And it's just a great community. You build a community, you build a group of people around you that are friends and business acquaintances, but then you'd be surprised how much they pull through for you when you need them. And that's what I have found. So to start us off, that is my number one. You have to build a network and use those connections when you're ready to launch something new.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah, go for it.
So, a lot of people are like, well, where do I go to network? And, you want to find, of course, where your audience is going to be, but always keep in mind that, like you said, somebody might know somebody. And I always keep an open mind about things. And, you can go to things like BNI but that costs money, and they have parameters around like who they want in their club and all of that. So if you are on a budget, you don't need to go to join one of these things like BNI. You can go to, there's a vast variety of things that are either close by to you if you're doing things that are selling in your area, or online. There's tons and tons of things. You can go to Meetup, Eventbrite, if you're not sure where to even start. Facebook groups oftentimes will have networking meetings. And then just, keep asking people like, hey, where do you go to network? And you'll discover all kinds of things. And it's the pandemic allowed us to have more Zoom networking, which is great.
Yeah.
Now I'm spoiled. I don't even want to leave my house to go network anymore. I'm going to be doing it this week, but it's really fun and nice to be able to go and do this in public and meet people face to face again. But there's so many opportunities online, and the whole Zoom thing is not going away. So,
oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
We got so used to it. We love it. We don't have to fight traffic. I mean, it's great to be at things, but then, you get more, I got more choosy about what I went to, right? Because I liked the fact that I could just show up wherever, and just be there in virtual reality, this virtual world we live in now. And now I'm like, do I want to fight the traffic? That's to like not just networking events, but a lot of things. So I always think about like, how much do I have to do to get there? And do I want to be there? And how important is it? So yeah, networking has been huge for me. And I got to give my friend, I got to take a drink before I start coughing. Hang on. I got that tea rolling today. Alex Hitt over at OBN Events. He does a creator networking one. I'm still going to cough. It is phenomenal. I've made amazing connections. And I think the last thing I leave about networking is be open, because, excuse me, you never know how you can connect with someone. They might come in and they say, this is my business. And you're like, oh, that's not really like something that I think would be a great connection. But then you listen to them, you're like, oh, first of all, I don't care what they do now. I just want to be their friend because they're so cool. Like you, I was like, the fact that you're an accountant is still, I just love what you do and all the things you bring to the table. But like, I also just really like who you are. And I just want to be your friend anyway, because you're so much fun. So it's just, you know what I mean? You'll meet people like that. And then you never know what that'll lead down the road. But you also you never know what kind of businesses will all of a sudden with creators, in my creator industry, I'm going to run into people that that all of a sudden there's like, oh, this is a great opportunity to collaborate on something, or learn from them. Like maybe they're doing something in their field that's different and that you've never thought of. So there's always ways to like grow from the people that you're meeting at these networking events. So don't just be like, oh, they're not in my field. I don't really need to. I hit every single person on, like, they'll post their LinkedIn. I'm like, every single one, I send them a request to connect, everyone, because I never know. And I'm just like, they showed up, right? And they're in the same space of what this is about. And so I know that there's going to be a way that I'm going to want to connect with them and work with them at some point. So I want to move on because I got a very strict time schedule. I'm trying to stay right on focus. Okay. So networking was number one for me. And from the networking and from the people, reach out to people who offer things that will help your business. So I was lucky and I reached out to Pinnacle AI. Now they have a CRM. And so one of the things I learned was it's expensive and there's so many like little costs that add up. Right? We all know that, right? So you're like, oh, it's only $10 or it's only $15. But then you need like 8 things that do that or 10 things that do that, because like you have to, if you're going to do anything online, you have to have some sort of like platform to stream from. We're on StreamYard today.
Mm-hmm.
So I needed that. I needed a website. I needed a domain. I needed a way to create funnels and emails. I needed a calendar. I needed so many things, I needed automations and workflows and, a place to like charge people stuff, right? A membership. I needed a community to build. I'm building a new community. I needed so many things. It's so overwhelming. And so if you've made great network connections, you might find that in those connections, there's somebody that offers a better deal if you buy it all together. And that's what I found with Pinnacle AI. So big shout out to Charles Higgins at Pinnacle AI. I mean, you see that, right? I mean, like when you talk about getting all these different things, how do you tell people like what to do when there's so many different things to like budget for that or figure out costs or plan things out? What are some tips that you have for like trying to get all of that, all of the different things that you need in one space? Because it's like this bill and that bill and this comes out when and that.
Right. Well, we also want to make sure in the beginning that we have a viable idea. So before we invest too much in all of these platforms, because you can go crazy on like AppSumo and buy all this stuff up, but test out your idea with a smaller audience and do it scrappy. So like I did the same thing with my membership. I was thinking like, oh, I need all this fancy membership software and stuff. And I just started with a free Slack. I used a Google Docs. And I mean, you can do it in a more of a small scale and prove your idea first before you start investing in it. But, you can also do the concept of like, when you have a baby, like there's so much junk you have to buy for a baby and that you're only going to use for a small window of time. And chances are, if through your network, you might find somebody else that has that stuff just sitting in their garage. So you might be able to just find things for free and utilize them. So software, that might be a little bit different. But, if you need to buy a laptop or something, maybe you find somebody that has a laptop that you can borrow for a short amount of time and just do things scrappy until you have a proven idea that you're actually making money. So I love like, tapping into your network of finding people that might be able to provide things at a lower price. Maybe you can do a trade-off. I'm not a big fan of trading services because I think that, sometimes there could be like, it's uneven and there could be resentment or anything like that. But look for handouts, sort of the free stuff, like the baby stuff, like, because you're going to grow out of it soon. And it's okay, but then you can afford it later. So.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And there's a point that you made in there about viable product and making sure you have something before you invest a ton of your money into it. There's a couple things in that I want to talk about, but I want to wrap up about like if you can bundle, right? If you have a viable product and you're ready to take that leap and you're like, I've tested this out and I know where I want to go with it. If you're ready, then look for things. That's why I chose Pinnacle AI, is because they had everything under one umbrella for me that worked really well. And I didn't have, because like just even having a website where you can take payments on it is so expensive. I used to go through Wix. And I love Wix. And Wix is so easy to use. And then I'd always look because they always have a 50% off coupon if you buy a year. So worth it, by the way. So look for those if you do want to use Wix. But like even $150 at half price, that's a lot of money. So I looked for something that offered me all of the things that I wanted. And there are a lot of companies that are coming out and doing that. I chose Pinnacle AI because I know the owner of it. And, listen, I'm going to take the extra advice and the help that he gives me all the time. He sat with me Saturday morning and like helped me set things up. So, And he has great training. I spent an hour in training this morning and I had a training session. They do give you tons of training, but then it's nice to have that extra, like, I just like call him and say, hey, I need help with something. And I won't be overusing that, but I'm just saying it's nice that it's there. So look for something that can save you money and get you in and if you can't find everything you need, look for the things that you are like, I can't do it without this. And then the pile, you know how when you're sorting things like I have to keep this. This is going to the Goodwill. This is going to the trash kind of
Yeah.
thing. Do it like that. So like this is like I won't be able to do what I want to do unless this is a thing. And then there's I'd really like to have this, but I don't need it right this minute. And then there's extra stuff that you're like, I don't really need that. Like I won't even like, let's just toss that aside right now. So really prioritize. I've done that in my soap business for years. I mean, I built a soap business selling $5 bars of soap, right? I didn't make made like $1.32 on each bar, but you know what? I sold a lot of bars. So I did make money, still do. So, even if you're doing a small cost thing. So find something. I love Pinnacle AI. I'm going to put links to all the things we're talking about, and Heather's going to have her links in the chat in the description. We'll add all that stuff. I'm like literally not even a week into my business, and I'm like flying by the seat of my pants at this point. But I did it for $100. Okay.
Can I make one last comment on what you just said? Have a vision of what you see in the future, because if you are buying things that are, because you're talking about a tech stack, these are things that, we can invest a lot of time and money into one piece of technology. And then when we need to move to this other thing, it doesn't talk to each other. Mm-hmm. And then we got to figure out new solutions and you got to redo everything. So yeah, do have like a long-term vision of where you want to take things so that you are following a good path where you don't have to kind of start over with software, because that can be just such a pain. Oh my God.
It really can be. Yeah. And own your stuff. I know a lot of people do stuff on social media. And so understand that if you are using social media for what your business is going to be, if that's your home, like on Facebook or Instagram, that you don't own any of that, right? You don't have the rights to that. If you lose that for any reason, it is literally just gone. And so always have some sort of a system. I know that you offer a lot of great like tracking. You are like the template queen when it comes to like Excel spreadsheets and all of these different things. So hook up with wrong way. I'm like twisted backwards in this video. That way. Talk to Heather and connect with Heather, because you've got like so many amazing things that will really help a business. And so definitely connect there. 100%. Yeah. I still use some of the templates that you sent me. I was like, I need these so badly, and they're so amazing. I joined one of her course groups, and it was outstanding. So there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about. And I think the next thing to talk about is, how long do we, like, what do you think is like the right length of time to give yourself? So you're going to start a business. You're going to do it as cheaply with all the resources that you have around you, whether it's networking people that people that you've worked with, freebies wherever you can find them, and then finding like just the right, like picking the right software tech stuff that you want to use. Mm-hmm. How long, what do you think is the right amount of time to give a business, and how long should you give yourself to like start seeing profits? Because I think people sometimes think they'll see it instantly, which is usually not the case. And other people give it too long and then get into a space where now they can't, they're in financial trouble. So what is your advice for that?
Yeah. So, I mean, of course, it's going to depend on the type of business, but it's funny. I was just writing something that's going to be my next post is going to be about researching before you invest too much money in your business. So we talked about a viable offer. We want to make sure that we can actually sell this thing. So before we take too much time and effort investing in developing it, creating it, all of that, we want to research and make sure, like, are we on the right track when it comes to, are we solving the correct problem, solution for the right person that can afford this? Because we can come up with something that people want to buy at $20 a pop, but how many of those things do we have to sell before we're making a profit, or making enough money we can live on? So we have to look at all those different factors. Like, do we have capacity to be able to make these things? Or like if it's a coaching service and it's based on you, and how many hours do you have? How many slots do you have to actually sell? Do you have time left over for marketing and networking and doing all those things? Like, are these things really going to pan out and work? Like, you got to do the math. Like, that's got to be in there. And so many times I think people don't do the math and figure that out. And they're like, oh yeah, I've got this idea. And they just keep going with it. and they're not making any money. And then there's like, years of they invest money into it and all of that. But, it depends on your question is, how long does it take? I think it really depends. I like to look at, publicly traded businesses to see what they're doing. They have investors. People have invested money into them, so they have backing. They can purposely not make a profit because they want to invest more money into like infrastructure or advertising and all of that. We don't have that luxury. We have to make money. So if we're not making a positive cash flow right out of the gate, we got to look to see, do we have emergency funds to hold us? Well, do we think that this is actually going to really work? Have we done the research? Does it seem like it is going to work? What do we have to do to reach that audience? How much is that going to cost? I mean, we got to crunch the numbers and make sure it's viable. We're in the United States. If you haven't made a profit in 3 years, the IRS is going to think that you have a hobby, not a business. So think about, what kind of a runway do you have? So really, it depends on the person. Do they have enough money set aside? If you're not selling things month after month, I'd start rethinking things, maybe sell something else.
Yeah. So give yourself a time limit. Like give yourself it's got to be profitable by, and make it a reasonable amount of time to say, if I'm not making money by this time, then I have to rethink things and decide if this is something to move forward on. I think that's like such great advice, because let's not kid ourselves. If it's not working, it's not working. And then you have to make changes and do something different and something new. So we've got a great network with people we've got that can help us out and give us advice, can help promote us, can help do those things, like to get our business off the ground, because I think it's kind of a scary time. And there's a lot of things that go into a business, and things that don't cost a lot of money. You can use those resources around you, right? So one of the resources that I use, of course, is social media. I love to use social media, and that's free for most of everything that I do, unless I want to buy an ad, which I am not ready for and I do not want to do. I will use social media as a great way to reach out to new people. And I join groups. We've met in groups. We've met in different things, right? Or I've gone to an event, an actual in-person event or an online event, and made those connections at like PodFest or at virtual summits and things like that. Those connections are really, really great. And so we get our business up. We got it going. It hasn't cost us hardly any money, because we know we've gotten our things with a very little bit amount of money. Now we've actually made a sale. Uh-oh. We have money coming in, Heather. When do we go and become a real business? Like, when is the right time to file for all of the things we need, whether we're an LLC or a sole proprietorship? When are we like, do I need to do that before I even launch? Or can I just start something if I haven't made any money? I'm not really a business, but I'm when do I need to do all that stuff?
Yeah. Okay. So this is not tax advice. It really depends on the type of business that you're running. If there is, some kind of liability that you might get sued, you'd want that extra protection and all that. So we're not talking about like doctors, lawyers, We're probably talking about people doing social media type stuff. You can operate under doing business as, some states have it called different things. But once you start making money, hopefully at that point, you start to think about, okay, do you want to go down that path or not? I would talk to a professional about that. I don't want to give advice about that, but but don't invest too much money up front. Like whatever you do, don't like just become incorporated or an S corp. Like you got to prove things. I stay away from partnerships. Oh my God. But again, not tax advice, not legal advice, but if you're making money, you want to start tracking this stuff. So this is like very, very important. You have to track this stuff, whether you do it in a spreadsheet, if you get, you want to have some kind of bookkeeping software. Again, if you're only making a few sales, you've got a few transactions, an Excel document is totally fine. If you like paper, you can do it on paper. Well, once you start getting a lot of transactions, I would think about doing something in some bookkeeping software. But again, that's another investment. So, but make sure that you track, and whatever you do, if you're going to start a business, if you don't have a business bank account, at least start a new bank account for yourself and like just use that for the business, like only, and then transfer money in and out of that. Just keep it all separated from the beginning.
From the very beginning, because you're going to start making money, and then you have to worry about the taxes, and you have to worry about what, your all the legal things about it. And so having someone like Heather is a great way to get started. And you can be just like, I'm just starting and I have no idea what I'm doing. Or you can come in and say, I've been running this business and it's getting really serious and I'm ready to up my game and I need someone to help me. And you offer all of that.
Mm-hmm.
What courses, I know we're going to wrap up here really soon, and I want to have like 5 minutes at the end that I can tell everybody about my big launch, but what do you have coming up? Because I know you have some really exciting things coming up that people can like get to work with you and learn more. What do you got going on?
Yeah, so I've got some free workshops coming up. I've got one on the riches are in the niches is coming up. I've got one on generating more sales and leads, and another one on pricing your offers, which is a really important one, because if we're not pricing our offers correctly, that can be a problem, because we want to make sure that we are covering all of our costs and we're not just pulling a price out of our, what. But there are, testing things out and all of that. And, sometimes you lower your prices to get testimonials and all that kind of stuff. But, but we talk about all those different things in the pricing class. So if you want to go to that, it's go to getradbiz.com/events with an S, and you can sign up for all the different workshops there, and they're all free.
That's fantastic. And I'll put all of that information in the description so you can find it. It'll be linked and everything. And so you can check it out. I took Heather's course and I learned so much valuable information. And so I will she comes with high praises from me. I love going to all of the things that she does. And I love that you are here to share some secrets and tips. You can start a business for $100. You just have to use the resources around you, partner up with some people. I partnered up. And I'm not talking about like a partnership business, but I partner with people because I have things that'll help them and they have things that'll help me. I partnered with STWF Studios and TV, Ivan over there and Coach Lee. They took me in and we are working together on a lot of projects and we just are helping each other out. So I give them some things and they give me some things. And it's really nice to be able to, that way I don't, that's a no cost. Or like share like accounts with people. Like Canva has space. If someone has a pro account, they have 5 seats in there. Maybe you can get a free pro account under one of your friends and share it. Throw them a couple dollars towards it or whatever it is, right? Like use those resources and then you can cut your costs even further. And take it seriously as soon as you decide that it is a business and you want to start it. Get some financial help and advice with someone like Heather Zeitzwolf Accounting. Unbelievable. Just so I love talking to you. You have so much information and are so much fun. And I can't wait to see the what's her name? The finance fairy,
the Radical Profit Fairy.
The Radical Profit Fairy. Yes. Is she going to make a return anytime soon?
Yes, I should be at PodFest, and I'm thinking about possibly going to FinCon. I am going to FinCon, so I'm thinking about maybe making an appearance of the Radical Profit Fairy at FinCon. So
she should. I love her. She was awesome. So, okay, big announcement. And Heather, you don't even know anything of this that's happening. So I decided to start my own business, and it is called Beyond Reach Institute. It is a community. It is a learning. It's going to have a full-on course for creators to learn all kinds of things. And I'm hoping Heather will be able to come in and teach like one of the weeks that I'm there to talk a little bit about this. So I can send her some people and new clients as well. But we're going to have a full course, a weekly course, our happy hours every Friday. There's office hours. There's collaborating. We're going to be doing goal setting and progress tracking so that people can really get the help they need and like know that they're heading in the right direction and moving forward. So a lot of in-depth things. We've got live workshops coming up. Our first workshop is coming up in a couple weeks, and it is on audio. It's all about audio, setting up the right mic, finding the right mic for you, or helping you use the mic that you already have. And so it is for all kinds of creators. If you're an indie creator of any kind, we'd love to have you in there. I'm excited to launch it. The website will go live today. So I've been building it all weekend, and I'm so excited for that. And I would welcome people to join. It's $29.99 a month for everybody to join. It's a monthly fee. You get a whole course in there and resources. So if you think about it, there's a lot of courses that are out there that are very expensive for creators, and you have a lot of different things that are, like I said, a lot of bills, a lot of different little payments for this, and you have to pay for your hosting, and you have to pay for all this. So if you want something that gives you the community and gives you the learning that you really want and support and a lot of events and workshops, this is a place for you. It will be live this afternoon, so you can join me. And this is my brand new YouTube channel. I got 3 subscribers, so subscribe, please. That's it for me. Thank you, Heather.
I am so excited for you. This is amazing. And yes, I will subscribe, and that is so cool. And I can just imagine all the things that we can collaborate with. So
there's gonna be lots of things. I love collaboration. So we're gonna do a lot of fun stuff. Thank you. I'm really excited for it. It's a new endeavor. It has gotten the fire lit underneath me, and I've literally been working 24 hours a day on this for the last 4 days. But like I said, you can do a business for $100 or less. That's what I'm doing with this business. That's what I'm doing. That's how much I've spent, $100. And I've got a whole business and training and partnerships and amazing people to work with, and the opportunity to serve the community that I love so very much. And I think that's why we do what we do. I was talking to someone earlier, if you could do this if you can be happy doing what you do and not get paid anything for it, imagine if you start making a little bit of money at it, right? Like I get so much fulfillment out of being able to help others and serve others. And that is why I do what I do. And a little money in the bank doesn't hurt anybody, but that's what gets us up. That's what keeps us excited and makes us keep going and reach higher levels, right? And do more because we have such a passion for it. And I know you have a passion for all that you do. And so having you here is just amazing, and I love it. And I thank you so very much. And we are at our 30-minute mark, and I want to thank everybody for being and joining me today. I'll be here every day, weekdays, for 30 minutes. So we got lots of things coming up. We have a family fun day coming up this week. We're going to learn about some games that you can get to use in the car with your kids so they get off their technology and you can do things together as a family on those family road trips and whatever it is. Ruth is going to be joining me in the studio later this week. And of course, Sally Fridays and lots of fun things that'll be happening. So that's it for me. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you so much.
And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.